Good morning, I am Dr. Sharma. Continue with my topic MMPC unit number 2 we will cover today. Block 1 we will discuss about the introduction of the organizational behavior. What about the organization is the part of today curriculum. First of all, in this study or in the specific unit, we will discuss about the objectives. After going through this unit, you should be, or a student should be able to understand some important points. These important points, we can say, meaning and approaches of the organization and organizational behavior. We will discuss about the OB components, models, systems, and overview of the organizational behavior today. Component of formation of organizations, what are the systems are there, and model for the management of the organizational behavior is the part of the objectives. So, number one objective is very significant. Basically, all the objectives are there, but in this specific thing, meaning and approaches of organizational behavior is more significant. Structure wise, introductions are there, meaning and approaches to the organization as well as the organizational behavior is the part. Then OB component and the models are the part of structure. Then system views of organization behavior is the part of our study. Components of the formal organization we have already discussed in the unit number 1 also. In the previous slides we have discussed about the component, type of the organization, types of the groups, types of the reference groups, which are the formal groups as well as the informal groups. Then the OB models, managing the organizational behavior. Then we will discuss about the summary, and some self-assessment questions are the part of the study. Introduction, as it is clearly indicated, we have examined the open system as well as the institutional perspectives of the society and organizations. The societal environment is the part, organizational interfaces, social processes, and the source of human behavior. For the individual, when we are studying about the individual behavior of a particular person or the employee in an organization, then it becomes the part of the macro level. While we are studied about the society, when we are studied about the environment, we will study about the factors, what are the factors affecting upon the organization, policies of organization, as well as the outcomes of the organization, and changing society overall is the part of the macro level organizational behavior. Changing the society and the organization in India, in previous unit we have also studied, but there is more effective phenomena or more effective thing is this. We will study not only on the macro, but we will also focus on the micro level, how a particular individual person is working in any organization. Next we can say, in this unit also we will discuss the conceptual parts, conceptual framework of the organizational behavior OB, as well as the system, their views, and the components for the formal organization. OB is an applied science. Previously we have discussed this is an applied science, very significant nowadays to study about the OB. A model guiding the learner to choose, choose the preferred managerial systems, styles in this specific unit. First of all, we are discussing here meaning and approaches to the organizational behavior. OB is the body, OB is the subject of the knowledge, and the pupils, their skills, applications, strategies, flow charts, unity of command, which type of the organization is adopting the policies, what are the policies. They helps to the managers to understand clearly, analyzing, predicting or predict what become the future of the specific industry, and manage or control human behavior at work. That is the meaning. So, I will focus on this slide. You must be clear about what is the real meaning of the organizational behavior. This is science, applied science, this is the knowledge, they are the pupils, they are the skills, there are some rules, there are the regulations, there are some specific strategies are there, plannings are there, as well as controlling system is there. So, why correlated with the human behavior, that particular person who are working in an organization. So, this is the real meaning of the organizational behavior. Next, we can say the body of knowledge is enriched by the social sciences such as the psychology, sociology, as well as we can say the anthropology. Anthropology is the part, economics, philosophy, politics, law, ethics, moral sciences, thereby resorting to an interdisciplinary approaches are there. So, this is a specific subject where is the need to study or which is correlated or which is constituted not only with a single subject, but it is interdisciplinary also, where there is the enrich in the knowledge which is the part of the science, sociology as you can say, anthropology you can say, sociology and psychology and sciences. In the limited by the biological sciences like the human anatomy, genetics, and we can say the physical and environmental sciences have influenced by the OB, and the theory of the OBs are there. Next, the interdisciplinary approaches helps to understand, analyze the causes and the nature of the human behavior. We have already studied that the prediction or predict about the behavior of the human being is very, very difficult task. But in the era of globalization, in the era of you can say in the competition, in the era of the technology, there is the need to understand the behavior of the employees, which is directly correlated with the compatibility, with the specific efficiency and end result of the organization. So, there is the need to study as the interdisciplinary approaches which helps to understand and analyze the causes and nature of human behavior. Why this specific behavior is doing by a particular person? The two levels are there, or they are reactive, action taken, and the behavior is manifest. The work upon the notation, the behavior is the caused. OB percepts and used to know why and what. Why a particular person is doing so, and what are the acts that particular person is doing. So, why is the first, and what he is doing, that is directly correlated with the cause related studies why that particular person is behaving like this. This is the part of the human behavior. Nobody that is the foundation with the prediction and the control of the behavior overall the results. The human pupil skills of the managers or the managers who are working in the organization make the use of OB as the applied science in order to the proactively predict and control the human behavior. Human behavior in the organization. The basic notation is that causes of the behavior may not be always traced to the organizational conditions, the social influencers, group norms, personal attributes which shape the individual differences could be contributory to the part. While managers, to some extent we can say, can address to the human behavior about the associating it with the organization or organizational causes, what are the causes that arises here, individual causes, what are the individual causes are there. The prediction of the human behavior, I am saying previously it is very difficult to predict about the behavior of the human beings, but there are some rules are there, some tools are there. With the help of these tools we can predict accordingly how a particular person will behave in any organization and in what condition that particular person is behaving like this. So the behavior is very important. Managing the consequences are what it's helpful to understand the behavior. Hence the organizational behavior processes, uses to developing the how to manage, how we can manage part of the human behavior at work is the part of this study. It is very essential to understand, and it is also essential how to manage, what are the procedures are there. With the help of them we can control, or we can develop a good behavior, or we can manage the behavior of the of an employee in any organization. That is the part of this study. Besides the interdisciplinaries, we can say the approaches of the organizational behavior is enriched by the human approaches, by the organizational behavior, what are the resources are available, contingencies and the system, approaches, human resources, availability of the human resources, what type of the resources are there, and with the help of the utilization of the optimum resources, development, contributing to the individual groups and organizational development also. The contingencies, approaches are used based upon the situational variations are there. Situational variants are there, or the variations are there, what type of the situation is there, what type of the industry is there. So situational variants, or we can say the situation variations, are very significant factors, or they can determine the behavior of the human beings. They can also influence upon the productivity. They can also influence about the any type of the, if we can say there is any type of the conflicts are there, then these variants are directly effect upon them. Involving the factors are there, what type of the dynamics are there, which type of the organization is going on, which type of the policies are going on, is the part of this. Open system, the various type of the system are there where we can study or we can follow or mainly focus about the open system approaches. Open system approach combines all these approaches, like so the system approach, we can say adaptation for the study of the organizational behavior, which provides for a rich crop of the strategies to refine and motivate human behavior at work, which type of the behavior is the particular person is showing. We have also covered in the unit number 1 in this regard. Components and the models are there. Models are some specific pictures, we can say these some pictures, some guidelines, some symbols we are arranging in a systematic way. Then the specific thing on the phenomena is known as the models. Models are very, very significant to study how we can study about the organizational behavior here. Like the organizational concept, structure and the processes are there. The organization is the pattern of the ways in which the large number of the pupils, persons, or you can say employees, everything is there. Too many to intimate face to face contact with the all others, how they are dealing and engaged in the complexity of the task is there, as well as the relative themselves with them, and the establishment and consequences systematical establishment accomplished by the mutually agreed purposes. So, organizational behavior, this is the way, this is the pattern or the way which the large number of pupils are intimated or communicated face to face is the part of the organizational behavior. So, it is also known as the rational coordination. We have previously also discussed what is the rational and what is the irrational. Rationality is always a particular thing. Rationality is always positive phenomena where the results are coming. Rationality is a justification. Rationality is a specific thing where we can say this is justified, or some specific strategies or some specific policies when we are forming, then we are saying that these policies are justified or these policies become favorable for the organization as well as for the sake of organization as well as for the sake of the employees. Also, then we can say there is the positive result may be arises, positivity may be arises, conflicts may be reduces, behavior may be improved, dynamics may be positive. So, this specific thing is known as the rational coordination between the activities, between the department, inter-department, between the teams members, between the informal groups as well as some type of the formal as well as informal groups. So, the number of the people for the achievement of the some common explicit purpose or for the goals through the division of the labor, which type of the division we are providing him, functions as well as they through a hierarchy of the authority, responsibilities, etc. is the part of this specific rationality. It is also described, you can say, it is also described what a continuing system of the differentiated and coordinated the human activity, utilizing the transforming as well as the we can say the welding together as a specific set of the human materials are there, as well as the capital, as well as we can say the ideological, as well as the natural resources, various type of the resources are always available, and we can say satisfying the particular needs in the interactions with the other system of the human activities and the resources in its environment. That is given by the E.W. Baker said these three definitions define the introduction, define about the organization. Organization is as a structure, as a process, as a system, and respectively. This is the part of this specific. You can now you can note down if you have doubt in any part of this specific slide, then you can go through. It is also described a continuing system. So, clearly indicated here. Next, very important diagram, please. You can see there is the three important elements are there. In this triangle, we can say there is the technology on topmost. At the present, this is the era of the AI, artificial intelligence. So, technology on the prime, steady state, people or the persons or the employees as well as the structure. You can say this in a specific a slide, very important slide, very important slide. Technology on the prime, persons or the people who are working, also there is the customers, consumers, managers, workers, all the things are there in the part of the people. Structure is the specific phenomena where we have designed a flow chart, and where we have designed what type of the structure is there. There is the centralization, there is the decentralization, what type of the hierarchical levels are there, how many managers will work for the specific thing, how many persons will be work in a team. So which type of the organization is if upward as well as the downwards, which type of the structure, which type of the organizational structure we are designing for reporting or for completion of their function is the part of the structure. Now down, technology, people are there, structure are there. Organization is represented by the pyramid. You can say this is the pyramid. So comprising the people, structure, technology, which is directly indicated or here in the specific thing you can see here. Organization is pyramid design. Next, you can see individual differences. What type of the individual differences are there? We can say the whole person, or the gastrate theory indicated about the organizational behavior in the whole to be gathered than the sum of its parts, as well as the human dignity is there, the features of the pupil on components. They are three indicated, although management generally tries to a fit for all. Always this is the phenomena when we can discuss, the management generally tries for a fit or fit for all policies. Institutionalization is the part is there. So when we are thinking about the organization, we are framing any type of the policies, then it must be fit for all, not only for a particular manager, for a particular department, but it must be fit for all organizations, for all departments. Then when it comes to the controlling the human behavior at work, then we can say individual differences between, you can say, the each organization. It will be individual or in the group or the organization, as in an open system. We can say organization deals with many of the organization, and the environment shall be taken into an account with the help of the study of the organizational behavior. At the same time, the whole person, we can say, combining the personal, psychological, emotional, spiritual, social, cultural, economic, and political also. So many things and factors are there, like we can say the emotional aspects are there, spiritual aspects are there, cultural aspects are there, economical aspect is the part, and political aspects also impact upon the organization. Need to be identified what are the factors are there, and address them accordingly when there are some time of the some grievances are arising, some time of you can say there are some pitfalls are there if arising, some errors are arising, some type of you can say the controversy arising, then we can say there is the need to address these type of the factors. Human dignity and their basics, human rights need to be protected in class and power. Humanity is on the prime when we are studied about the organization, because it is directly related with the human beings, with it directly related with the employees. So employee-employer relationship is there. So power, permanently, and the organizations are there. Then it is determine the interface between the mechanization is there, and the organic structure and the processes are there. There are the many factors are there. We can say the ergonomics. Ergonomics when they are dealing with the human being with the environment, environmental studies, environmental adjustments, how type we can save our environment, how we can prepare a good environment. So this is the part very clearly ergonomics. There is the main and working environment adjustment. Not only the climatic conditions, working environment, which of the working environment is going on in an organization is the part of the ergonomics. This term is very significant and important. Ergonomics is the part when we are dealing, when we are working, when we are doing a research, when we are working on a specific segment, where is the environmental adjustment like the sometime of the policies, sometime of the what type of the working conditions are there, working hours are there, which type of the environment they required for a particular functioning, for a particular results, where a particular person is working in an organization. So that is the part of the ergonomics. Then when this is a part of them, machine and man, and what is the compatibility with them, like we are working with computer, like we are handling a machine, automatic machine sometime. So it is depend industry to industry which type of the dealing are there. Services are also depend upon the man and machine compatibility. Various sectors are there. Medical sector is there, where we are using various type of the instruments are there for diagnosis, for preventive health care. Many trainers, many gyms are using on based upon the machines only. So what type of the compatibility between a man and machine, this is also a very important part. This is the part of the human engineering. So in the organizational behavior or in the study of the organization, human engineering aspects under the part of OB, where we are dealing what are the compatibilities required, what type of the some alteration are required if machine is not properly working, if there is some lacuna between the adjustment between the man and machine, when there is no compatibility. So because now nowadays there are the automatic machines are there, compatibility are there. Washing machines are also sometimes you are saying the more compatibility with the man and machine. So various type of machines are there, various type of the machines are working here, but compatibility is the part where is the human engineering, because human touch is required for operating any machine. Then the other area addressed by the technology. Technological advancement is very, very important nowadays. Technology also determine the pupil's skills, job positioning and status as well as the structure. So in this slide you can write down about the adjustment, ergonomics, working environment adjustment, like the human engineering, as well as the area of technology, technological advancement. These 2 or 3 parts are there where need to focus. So this is not the micro part. When we are discussing about the technology, we are discussing about the man-machine compatibility, when we are discussing about the environmental conditions, then these all things, when we are discussing about the legal political environment, so all the things are the part of the macro level study. Organization structures or the organizational structure, which of the structures is going on, is created by the interface. Interface is what? Between the people and the technology. Very, very important and significant phenomena. This is also the part of study and also the part of the focus when there is any lacuna, when there is any gap. So what are the compatibility, what are the interface between the people and the technology must be studied and focused about the organization. It embodies the authority, subordinates, structures, reflected in the hierarchical level functioning, specific what are the functions is going on, specialization, divisions of specializations are there, what type of the labor we are providing here, what type of the structure, this is the horizontal, lateral, which type of the structure we are forming here. It is also engage the vision, mission. We already studied about what is the vision, what is the mission of an organization, goals, policies, and some time of the rules, regulations. So providing the energy and purpose to the structure is the part of the OP. We can say the authority, subordinate verticals are there. The structure is based upon the certain principles as given below. We can say what? The chain of the command. Very important thing is the chain of the command. There are the various factors are there working with a specific thing. This is also the part of the chain of command. Chain of command that determine the flow of direction, flow of the communication of the direction or the line command is the part of the chain of command, which of the command we are providing. The span of control, which of the control is identified or rational, subordinate or to the supervisors or the superiors. Then authority is institutional and not personal. The CEOs had delegated the authorities in organization from institutional framework to the another framework, we can say. So the authority generate the responsibility. So greater the authority, more the responsibility. The CEO cumulatively is ultimately, we can say, responsible for every act of the you can say the omission or the commission in the organization is there. Authority can be delegated but not be responsibility sometime is the part. If authority is more than the responsibility, important point is this: when authority is more than the responsibility, then it may be abused sometime, maybe arise some dysfunction in the organization. So there may be a equilibrium should be there. If responsibility is more than the authority, then it cannot be complied with the environment of the organization, even though the authority greaters the responsibilities, mechanism should be followed. There is no to maintain a balance. There is the need to maintain a balance. Sometimes we are providing the authority, no responsibility. Sometimes we are providing only the responsibility, and responsibility. There is no authority. How we can manage? How we can control? How we can provide a justified phenomena or mechanism? How we can provide some specific results to the organization? Managers sometimes helpless. He said that I have no authority. I cannot pass this bill. I cannot pass this specific resolution because authority is limited. So there must be some balances should be there for the good, you can say ergonomics in the organization. There must be some balance between the responsibility, authorities here. So under the use of the authority, it is also the unproductive. So there is the need to focus which type of the authority you are designing, which of the responsibility you are giving, what is the balance, why the results are not coming so correlated with your specific predictions. There is the need to study between this specific combination between authority and responsibility. Then authority flow from sometimes top to bottom, sometimes some information flows from bottom top management level also. It is depend which type of the information and which type of the organization, which type of the structure are formed. Then the acceptance theory clearly indicated by Cheston and Bernard, giving the order and as well as some principles are there for floating and suggested the authority as well as suggested about the orders accepted by all, by the subordinate, it becomes the more effective. If we are providing some specific information, we are providing some specific rules and regulations, and we are providing some guidelines, and it is accepted by all subordinates. Yes, it is good, it is fine, I will do it, or they will do it in a group. So it becomes more effective for the organization. So acceptance theory is directly indicated when you are forming any type of the rules, any type of the regulations, any type of some specific rules and regulation or environmental condition you want to change, then there must be follow the acceptance theory. It must be accepted by near about more than 90% persons or more than 99% persons. It is depend upon the organization as well as the mindset of the employees, which type they are taking of this specific phenomena. So what is the mindset of the manager also. So sometime it gives a bottom to top schemes we are providing authority, but in the organizational process it is not feasible sometime. So hold good to the extent of the legitimacy legitimacy and legitimate powers we can also discuss about it. Effectiveness of the authority is directly effect upon organizational behavior. Some accountability establishes, linkages are there. In terms of the subordinate, compliances are there to the authority, and the guiding the extent of the compliances, it is the bottom up process is following here. In the horizontal aspect of the organization, it is divided and the division of the labor function and the specializations. We can say the decentralization and the coordinations are their forces on the structure. So we can focus which type of the horizontal structure is there, vertical structure is there, which type of the division of work we are applying, functional specialization is what, how the organization will work. It will be work for the centralization, it will work on the concept of the decentralization, as what are the level of the condition, what are the level of the contact, what are the coordination is there. So it must be focused, and then we can provide them the accountability. Yes, we are providing the specific things are there, some rules are there, some regulations are there, this type of the structure is there, then authority and accountability we can place to the department. The above mentioned need of the organizing structure process emanate from the bureaucratic approaches sometimes, and ideal, and we can say the rational structure, rational is a justified structure stated over a period of time and the space we can provide there. Specialization and the division of labor and the employment based on the technical qualifications, positioning, arrangements in a hierarchical level in which the promotions are made according to the seniority, whatever the seniority level is there, it is senior or not senior, as well as achievements of that particular employee. Ideal bureaucratic attacks was protected against, we can say, the arbitrary, disseminated, and expected to maintain the impersonal relationship, and a system of the personal rules, regulations, features, and bureaucracy exist in the organization. So bureaucracy has been the profusely criticized sometimes we can say it is good, sometimes some objections are there, but according to the we can say the Karl Marx believed the bureaucracy are used by the dominant capitalistic classes to control and exploit the lower persons or lower classes, you can say here. He believed that the bureaucracy can be as effective as the person at the apex. It's important. So Parkinson's law said that the bureaucratic staff increases when there is a number of the bureaucratic persons are increasing, inversely proportional to the amount of work done. It is directly you can say effective or effect upon the organizational capabilities. And Peterson principles say what the in a bureaucracy, when bureaucratic approaches are applying, people rise to the level of the we can say the incompetency sometime, and indicate the weakness of the bureaucracy. So there are some change, there are some deviation according to some experts. What type of the democracy, what are the impact of the democracy, sometimes it is positive, sometimes may be negative. So what type of the work, what of the compatibility, what of type of the effectiveness arises, this is the point of the study. So after the justification of all the things, we can follow or adopt any type of the you can say the approach. Which type of the approach as a leader you are following here, this is depend upon the overall behavior, overall the number of employees as well as the policies of organization. Here dysfunctions sometimes are seen in the bureaucratic function, sometimes we can say like namely the specializations we can say or the labor, apparently some functions are there increasing the efficiency, what type of the efficiency, increasing or decreasing productivity, but all the same time it is creating the conflict between the specialization or specialized unit, you are the specialized persons are there to determine the organizational line like the staff as well as some arises of the conflicts in the organization. The functional attributes are very important phenomena. These are some properties properties like they the maintain unity of command, coordinates the activities of the personnel, reinforcement, authorities, responsibilities, as well as the accountability, chain of accountability, serve as the formal system for the communication within the organization. In the theory, or some in theory part, it has been downward and upward theories are there, or they are arising here, upward and downward orientation, but in the practice it is turned out to be having only the downward emphasis are there, in individual initiatives are there. So participating often in the blockages are there, upward communication is the part implicated. There is no recognition in some time of the informal communication groups. Ideal bureaucratic never exists sometime really. So we can say this is the ideal bureaucracy. So never exists really, according to some theories. Nobody can be really impersonal, and whole success of the bureaucracy test on the filmacy impersonal contact, we can say, of the ideal bureaucratic conditions are there. So we can say rules are supposed to be involved. Rules are supposed to be inviolate sometime, and the non-discriminatory is there, but seldom at the rules have earned become more important sometime than the goals. Delay and distortions in the communication became a rule by itself and by the rule of the bureaucracy is there. So there is the need to systematically study about all the things, all the phenomena available, then specific things are there in the organizational behavior. The modern organizational design, designing is very, very important. Everything is designed. Sometimes we said this is the tailor-made things are there. So in the modern organizational designing, we can say the modern organization designs are the conceived already due to the changes that have occurred on account of the globalization, and we can say there is the resultants, there are some resultant of the mergers. Some organizations designs are nowadays breaking or reforming. Why? Because the modern organization design are conceived due to the changes. Some changes are arising day by day that have occurred. Why? On account of the globalization, as well as the resultant mergers are continuously there, and the expansions are going on day by day. The philosophical challenges are coming, bureaucracy, as well as the other type of the things are there, including the educational importance, and the philosophical challenges are there. So philosophy is very, very important. Which type of the philosophy is coming on? Which type of like there is a philosophy, man is more dependent upon the technology as compared to the only machine. So there is the combination which is known as the human engineering. So human engineering day by day increasing. So which type of the philosophy is coming in? What type of the philosophy adopted by the organization is the part of the designing. Then the bureaucracy does not allow the personal growth only. They accept the conformity and group linked. They does not link into the account information. Informal groups are there. Does not have the conflict resolving mechanism is there. And we can say it resolve role conflicts are there. Line staff conflicts are there, like given by the Peter and F. Duker's concept are there. Line staff conflicts arises. Conflict we have discussed also in the unit number 1 also. So, for the redressal forms are there to resolve the problems when there are any type of the conflict arises in any department or with the manager or with the bosses also. So above all, it is the rigid structure when we are designing that cannot be assimilate the new technology, and some changes are there. So bureaucracy sometimes does not allow the personal growth in some specific organization. It is dependent upon the organization to organization. So the group theory of the Rance's Linkard highlights the role. Theory this given by the Rannis clearly indicated reaction resulting into the more group to the group to the group. This is the relationship rather than the individual relations. So the group theory of the Rannis Linkard highlight the role relation resulting into more group to more group relations rather than the individual relation. So according to this theory, we must focus about more and more upon the macro level of the organizational behavior when we are studying, when we are focusing, when we are result oriented, how a one particular individuals is only not the part of study, but how a one group is um, linked, how a particular group members are more formal or more helpful for providing some specific informations, or some when we are saying that the informal groups are increasing day by day. So, it is the part of the organizational growth. Then the organization as an open system almost I am saying declare the death knell or the bureaucracy by giving the more and more importance not only the internal system but also the external system. External system is very also important, and this is directly impact upon the organizational behavior. These are the some external factors which are directly influence upon the organizational behavior. And the information process impressively and also expected to the organization structure to be more flexible in nature. The contingency approach, these approaches are there. Lawrence given this specific ones, you can write down from the slide, and outline the importance of the organizations, we can say, in the differentiation, integration and strategic adaptation from the adjustment of the various changes are there arises in there, or we can say like the Gall Brandt expanded it still further by the linking certainty with one to the another uncertainty faced by the organization time to time delay. Duncan in the decision free model they provide, the complex which is called known as the uncertainty environments began addressed by the static and dynamic organizational structure. Two type of the factors are there, two type of the structures are there. We can say some the static and some are the dynamic. Static, where there is the less chances to change, some this is governed by the body, this is, we can say, this is the constitutional, we cannot change these type of some policies sometime. So then static are there is no more much change are there, but in the dynamic situation or dynamic structures we can change accordingly. When we are saying that there is no result is coming, then we can dynamically change the structure of the organization according to the demand or according to the results which we are needed, or according to the mission which we come the fulfill by the employees. Then project designing is very important. So the project is a time bound prioritized goals. Projects are some goals. Nowadays we are providing some specific project. This is the project, this is the time framework is there. So you must complete this, because projects is the time bound prioritized. They are the prioritized goals are there. When we are designing some specific thing, when we are providing some specific goals, so we are also providing within 2 months, within 3 months, within 6 years, within 1 year. So it is depend upon the nature and commitment, how will the this specific project will be completed, and what is the future, what is the aspect, what is the scope of this object. This is depend upon the time. So number important one thing is that number one point is this: project is a time bound. Number one, this is time bound, and prioritized goals are there. Priority is there. Always priority is given to the projects. You must complete your project. So every organization is there will have such goals. Everywhere the goals are there, rules are there, missions are there. So which are distinguished from the generic policy objectives, and we can say they address. There could be many projects are there. Many projects are nowadays are there in the organization. At any given point of the time, we can study the project staff would be eminent from the functional structures, you can say, as well as the assimilate back into the completion of the project. So there are the various type of the projects are there. Classification of projects also the part of OB. This is back. It all the tends to the bureaucracy, and we can say the inbreeding great flexibility we are providing flexibility, as well as the organizational structure is the part. So even the breaking the line staff taxonomy projects require always project require the interfunctional and intrafunctional, sometimes hierarchical integration, where the integration, where the correlation for their successful completions are there. Their dependency are required. Lot of the flexibility we can provide. Identifications are there. Executions of the projects we are providing. Individual staffs, intermix, aggregates are some type of the project structure. So when we are designing the product, there we must be focused about the individual capabilities, staff capabilities, intermix, when we are mixing intra department, one department to the another department, one person belongs to a specific department, second is from the another department. When we are mixing and we are providing some specific type of the mix, then there is the need to study how you are planning, how you are plan to accomplish or fulfill the project within a given time of period. You must be consider it. Then metrics are designed nowadays. When a project or the structure, you can say, is, we can say, the superimposed on the functional, you can say functional structure, the result in the matrix arises. Matrix design is the largely laterally spread. So you can say the matrix design violates sometimes the hierarchy and line of the staff divisions. They break in formal groups which emerge out. You can say the relatively more permanent work groups. Matrix design creates a repository or the specialist availability in the functions as well as in the structures also. They are free from the organization or the linear structures. Various type of the structures are there in the organizational behavior, or when we are discussing about the structures of the organization. So linear organizations also there, various type of the organization structure there. SBU model important, that is the transactional or the geographical models for the organization applied. Structures are used by the MNCs. MNCs are adopting the SBU models. Multinational groups are there, they are growing well, not overall. These are the largely molecular designs are there with a central hub, you can say, surrounded by the network of the production unit of the outside specialists as well as the service providers are there. When we are studied, then say the rather than, you can say, the being the household under one roof or located within the one organization services such as the accounting, designing, manufacturing, part marketing, distribution networks, we are saying about the network, outsource, and various agencies are connected electronically nowadays. So the central offices are there, expected perform as per the standards. What are the standards we are using here? Prescribed by the main company in mutually agreed upon the job contract. Then in this slide, the design is not only the cost effective as per the expenses, not only the cost effective nowadays. So on the machines, tools, materials, resources are available borne by the contracting out the company, but also the reduces the administrative overhead cost is the part of study. Conceptual and approaches to study of the behavior. So the behavior is the activity, behavior is the phenomena, behavior is you can say directed towards the goals. When behavior is going towards the goals, then there is a force is applying, which force may be a motivational force. Manifestation is essential for being recognized as the behavior, latent state, mind of the psyche of which the cognition is an important part. When we are studying the future, cognition is an inherent ability or ability to comprehend, compare and cognize. Cognition is in birth. So this is the part of our ability which we have. Genetically we have this type of the abilities, maybe the intellectual, so many type of the cognition may be there. Then it is the cognitive ability to receive, organizes, plan how they behave, respond or communicate to the external stimulus. Stimulus are there, various things are the stimulus which can stimulate you for the betterment, thereby playing a crucial role of the bringing about the, you can say, the parity between the latent a state of the mind, whatever the state of the mind, as well as the manifest behavior of a particular person. The following are the some important approaches of the organizational behavior. Some important parts are there in the study of the organizational behavior. There is the Sigmund Freud's theory, very important Sigmund theory, which is depend upon the id, ego, superego, three factors dependent theory, which is always accepted everywhere in the management studied, like in the study of management, like the Sigmund Freud. What Sigmund Freud model is characterized by the three factors intercorrelated with each other, conflicting the psychoanalytical process frames in the mind, namely ego as well as the superego and the unconscious motivations part. So this is the id is the impulse struggling. There are some specific impulses are there for the gratification. Superego is the unconscious consequences are there in the mind of the human being, right and wrong, and block the impulse of id. This is the superego is a part unconsciously working, differentiate the right and wrong, what is right and what is wrong. That is the part of ego, and then check how we can behave in the society. And ego is the conscious which act as the balancing role. So there are the ego is there, superego is there, and three type of the egos are there. So these type of the three elements controlling the behavior, balancing the behavior, which type of the behavior is particular person is doing in the organization, because when there is the axis of the id and there is the lack of some ego and superego, you can say, then this behavior is childish behavior. When there is it is there, because this is the native, that is the cognitive, that is by birth, by the genetics. But ego is developed, behavior is developed by the help of education, by the help of practices, by the help of training programs, various type of the programs there, where we are generated, we are correlated, we are increasing their id to the ego. Then become, when we are very refined, when we have the experiences, we have some knowledge, we are working in a specific organization, then we have working in another organization, we have some specific knowledge is there, then there is the development of the superego. So when there is this superego is there, then there may be the change in the behavior of a particular person. So this is the part of the segment theory which is directly integrated. The three parts are there. So at last, in this specific chapter, we can say this inherent conflicts in the intraperson, we can say explain the behavior, abbreviations, clinical methods are there for the treating the mental illness come out in this model. Very significant model. This I'm preferring you. This is very important, a significant model which is always helpful for study well. This is always working. If there are any lacuna is there, any improductivity is arising, you must check out the behavior with Sigmund Freud's model, id, ego and superego, because it is very helpful. Though it provides for a framework for analyzing, how we can analyze behavior at the interpersonal level, which type of the behavior is there. So applicable for analyzing the behavior at the interpersonal, group and organizational level is there. Then we can say the Burnick and child, adult and pattern ego, what are type of the stages are there, we can study it here. Transactional analysis model are there. So further we explain the cognitive dissonance level, what of the dissonance is leading to the behavior, what are the problems arising. Cognitive approaches, Edward and Tolman given this specific type of the cognitive approaches to study the human behavior, emphasize the positive and free will accept of the human behavior, how the human behave against the Freudian obsessions or given theories, like with the negative, irritational, sexual motivated human behavior. It is explained in the intervening as well as in the mediating, controlling and conditioning between the stimulus as well as the behavior in terms of the expectancy theory. So behavior is caused, like the segment stimulus, it is the causes which shape the responses, it is the captured by the stimuluses. Response model, SR model, very important, S and R. S and R, stimulus and response model. Okay. So when we are providing the stimulus, there is the responses are arising. It may be positive, sometimes negative. So classical conditioning theory, which is given by even Pavlov, is very, very important, which is directly indicated, which is based upon the some stimulus and their response. What type of the responses are given. Behavior is shaped by the consequences. Which type of the consequences are there, what type of the things are going in the organization. It will be repeated, and behavior resulting, you can say, in the unpalatable consequences will existing in the organization. So this is explained by the principle of endonism, by the cognitive theory as well as the balance theories are there, advert theories are there, Tolman theories are there. Explanations are given, which is the RS model are there, Skinner's theory is there, and antecedents behavior consequences are known as the ABC model. ABC model, which cover and affects the behavior, namely their behavior is caused by the behavior shaped by the consequences, why this specific behavior is shown by the employees. At last, the stimulus organism response is known as the SOR model. So we will discuss this SOR model as well as the SOBC model in the another class. So thank you very much. We will recap in another class. If there is any doubt, I am always here. So we will discuss in the another class. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.